everyone, this is Pico Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to take a look at the first trailer for the Marvels. Now there may be spoilers throughout for all movies and TV shows within all phases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so just beware when going into this overall video. Now for anybody who doesn't know, The Marvels is the sequel to the superhero movie Captain Marvel from 2019, with Brie Larson as Carol Danvers, and that movie was a prequel set within the 90s, showing how she discovered her true identity on planet Earth after training to be a soldier for so many years within the Kree Empire. She was a former pilot who absorbed their energy from a powerful device which gave her all of her abilities. After appearing in Avengers Endgame, Carol Danvers will now return alongside Monica Rambeau, who is Maria's daughter from the first movie, who we also saw as part of the Sword Division team in WandaVision trying to infiltrate the Hex Zone created by Wanda. And we will also be joined by Khamala Khan, the Muslim teenager that we were introduced to in the Ms. Marvel series, and was also established as one of the first mutants within the MCU. The Marvels is now set for release on November 2023 after initially being pushed back from its summer release. So then, my initial impressions from watching this first trailer. To be honest, I wasn't really that impressed. They've gone for that bright, sippy, comedic tone that we've seen previously from the likes of Guardians of the Galaxy and the last two Thor movies, both in Ragnarok and Love and Thunder. Now, whilst I wouldn't of course expected a dark and gritty approach, this does feel overly familiar and generic at this point. We get lots of leaping in and out of different portals and spaces and universes, as what we're now accustomed to with the introduction of the multiverse within the MCU. There's lots of chasing and screaming and pirouetting and fight sequences. They're clearly going for much more of this high energy, fun, escapist adventure, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. But I guess at this stage it just feels very superfluous and probably just a bit indifferent when watching this overall trailer. The plot itself really isn't that established. Who indeed the main antagonist will be, we're not sure. And as this is a teaser trailer, a very extended teaser trailer, almost over 2 minutes, I'm not saying that they should have spoiled the story, but given the very lukewarm buzz so far about this film, I think they could have benefited far more in trying to at least show that there will be some sort of compelling, strong narrative throughout this film. Now from reading online, it seems that the main story will involve Carol Danvers coming across a group of Kree soldiers on a certain planet, and that face-off will cause her to get her powers mixed up with both Khamala and Monica, and we see this throughout the trailer in the first couple of scenes where we see Monica on some sort of space mission being replaced by Khamala, Carol Danvers reappearing within the Khamala Khan household. We saw this at the end credit scene of Ms. Marvel, which hinted at this story. So they'll have to do some explaining to audiences as to how this all makes sense. Why exactly are these three characters connected? Yes, they all have the Marvel name within their comic book interpretations, but in terms of the current universe, how exactly are all of their powers intertwined with one another when they haven't met each other before? Now clearly the movie is going to rely on the chemistry of the three actresses, Brie Larson, Iman Fellaini and Turner Paris. So in terms of this movie, one hopes that they'll be able to generate enough chemistry and likability for viewers. I suppose there is potential for a lot of fun shenanigans in seeing how each character reacts to being transported in each other's situations. Now it does feel from this trailer that they're going to walk that fine line between being really endearing and being really annoying. Me myself, I don't really have any major issues with any of the actresses in their portrayals. It was always about how they were written, and this was most notable with Carol Danvers. How she discovered who she really was, or her ascension in terms of the role of the Avengers, just never felt truly earned. And we can't deny that she clearly hasn't crossed over the way that Marvel had hoped for. We all remember that prior to her release of their first film, how Marvel was already anointing her as the next frontrunner of the MCU going forward. I think in hindsight now that was a mistake. I think it would have been far better just to let Carol Danvers just be her own identity without having any burden of carrying the MCU going forward. We could of course spend an eternity talking about the outrage over Brie Larson and all of the controversy regarding her statement about 40-year-old white dudes. That statement itself provided many foundations for many YouTube channels to grow and be successful on the platform. And to be honest, if you weren't a fan of Carol Danvers before, then nothing in this trailer would have done anything to convince you otherwise. And we also have to admit that the inclusion of both Khamala and Monica in this film is very much an admission from Marvel that they don't have enough faith in Carol Danvers to carry another movie on her own. Perhaps this movie itself is an audition to see which Marvel character is the most popular to go forward with future phases, which of the three Marvels would engage most of audiences, And they're clearly going for that more kid-orientated demographic in terms of the tone in this trailer, which again, is nothing wrong with that. But will that be enough to garner a big-time success for the film? As this is now the 33rd installment within the MCU, this type of trailer is probably going to feel very ordinary and uninspired at this stage. And I'm really not so sure of how big this film will be. Obviously, Phase 5 has already got off to a very poor start with the big underperformance from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And we can definitely say for sure that the Marvels isn't going to come anywhere close to the 1.1 billion gross from the first film. And the recent Marvel sequels such as Thor: Love and Thunder and Black Panther: Wakanda Forever have grossed less than their previous films. And I'd expect the turnout to be the same for the Marvels as well. Now, of course, I'm sure we'll get all of the supposed hatred towards Brie Larson. We'll get multiple videos and tweets leading up to the release of this film. But the real question will be as to whether Marvel will try to weaponize the hatred, or will they just try to concentrate on providing a good story and a movie itself. I really would recommend that they choose the latter option. I feel if they do try to antagonize the critics and the haters, it will just blow up in their face, especially if the film isn't that good. We will wait and see what happens when the movie arrives. But at this stage, in terms of watching this trailer, my feeling again is just one of indifference. Nothing really there to inspire me or excite me or get me hyped for this film itself. Of course, that could change with the second trailer, but at this stage, the Marvel just seems like it will be yet again another generic entry within the superhero genre. But who knows, when we come to see the film, maybe expectations have been lowered so much that it could actually surprise us and turn out to be a very good, engaging comic book adventure. We will wait and see overall. So those are overall thoughts and feelings on the first teaser trailer for the Marvels. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think it will somehow surprise people who weren't that impressed with the first film? Do you think it will actually be worse than the first film? And how do you think it will perform overall at the box office? As I mentioned before, I'm sure it will not get to $1 billion, but can it somehow be successful and somehow get to maybe 600, 700 million worldwide? I think that would be a very big win for Marvel if the film manages to hit those type of totals. But maybe we're probably more likely looking at a total somewhere at around between maybe the Eternals and Quantumania. But again, we will wait and see as to whether this film will have any massive ramifications going forward in terms of Kang or the mutants, or indeed any other cosmic elements that Marvel wants to introduce later on down the line. We will wait and see overall. But let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have any other further suggestions regarding any other movie reviews or television series or any other topics that you'd like to see me cover within this channel, then also let me know within the comments, and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on those topics within the future. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.